Following a tumultuous childhood, Erica Pugh is dying to break free from her parents' strict boundaries.
She just loved trouble, didn't like rules.
But when she meets the man she thinks will be her savior, he shepherds her down an unimaginable path.
Committing these crimes was the ultimate adrenaline rush.
Erica was willing to do whatever it took to keep him happy.
And later, in Hyde Park, Massachusetts, surrounded by a loving support system, young Yamali Mathurin has the textbook foundation for success.
She was very active socially and academically, basically your average teenage girl.
But when the man of her dreams delivers her to evil, it sets off a chain of chaos and quickly derails her promising future.
It was probably one of the most gruesome homicide scenes that these cops had ever come upon.
She was looking for love, but she found the end of her life as she knew it.
Born and bred on the streets of Delmar, Maryland, Erica Pugh learns from an early age how not to be in a loving relationship.
She had a two-parent household, but in this instance, her dad was very abusive to the mom, and she watched that growing up as a child.
The first time he hit me, I was breastfeeding her. And I do believe that it did affect her very deeply.
As the chaos continues around her, the 9-year-old quickly develops into a rebellious child.
She was very defiant to anybody who tried to correct her. She just didn't like it. It was her way or no way.
Erica, pick the bag up, please.
When children act out or lash out, it's very rarely their fault because their brains are not fully formed, not until young adulthood. Therefore, they will lack impulse control and self-regulatory behaviors.
I don't care about your apology, Dad.
And the animosity only intensifies when her folks decide to call it quits.
I'm your father, Erica.
She was thrust into a new situation with new relationships, all of which could be extremely problematic for a child that is just starting to develop their own identity and figure things out in the world.
For the next 3 years, things only get worse when her mother brings a new man into their already turbulent world.
I was laid back, cool, calm, didn't like trouble myself. So she just thought I was a bad person because she never seen a person act this way. She just didn't like me at all.
When I met Alex, she was really not very excited about that because she wanted her dad.
And when her stepdad tries to create some boundaries for his new blended household, Erica only lashes out further.
She was talking back to me, trying to make her mom look towards me at the wrong person. And I told her, I said, look, I'm not gonna steer you in the wrong way or nothing like that. I just want you to listen to me. And she didn't want to listen.
As she approaches graduation, her future takes a tumble when she falls in with the wrong crowd.
She continued to create distance between her and the rest of her family. She made friends that probably weren't the best for her.
She started not coming home, being gone for days at a time. I'd report her missing. She'd come home, and it was just a vicious cycle.
There are many things that can contribute to a good child going bad. Sometimes it may be something as simple as teenage curiosity, but quite often it may be from a tumultuous upbringing in a dysfunctional or broken home.
In fact, the girl is often spotted mingling with the degenerates who lurk around her neighborhood.
She liked smoking weed, drinking, and that's what all her friends did. And I guess that's what she wanted to do.
When Erica's mom found out that her daughter was out getting drunk and high, she tried to bring her back in. She tried to get her to change her ways, but Erica didn't listen.
We tried everything in our power to get her help, and it didn't matter to her.
Making things worse, Erica gets an unwanted gift after blowing out the candles on her 16th birthday.
She had been impregnated by a young man that she had known from hanging out on the streets, and it was not easy for her.
Unfortunately, The surprise pregnancy is not to be when she suffers a miscarriage just a few weeks in. And when the baby's daddy says he wants nothing to do with her, it sends the would-be mom into a depression.
Bye, just go.
She had reached her lowest point, and she felt that there was no one else in the world who either cared about her or was there for her.
But when she's introduced to the painkiller Percocet, it helps Erica forget her troubles.
It was definitely tough on Erica's mom. She would only see her daughter in a zombie-like state.
She just wanted to sleep all day, sit in the house, listen to music.
It was a disaster.
Erica.
In a desperate attempt to stop the out-of-control behavior, her mother calls the police.
And she had her basically put on house arrest. She did everything she could to try to bring her daughter back from this addiction problem.
They put on ankle bracelet. She calmed down for a little bit, and she would stay home pretty much.
But the second she's released 2 weeks later, the 18-year-old takes full advantage of her freedom by taking off for good.
It was 3 days and she was gone.
She knew she can always come back home, and we always let her in. But it was at a point where she didn't want to come back.
Now homeless, Erica hops from couch to couch, bunking with any friend or acquaintance who will have her, even if their hospitality comes with a sexual price tag.
When you have a teenager who is emotionally damaged or neglected, they certainly are at risk to falling in with the first person who shows them any kind of attention, even if it's a person who has really bad intentions.
Then one day, when she crosses paths with 28-year-old Ben Holterman, he instantly becomes a bright spot in her dark world.
He was handsome in her eyes, someone who's older, perhaps even wiser, that could guide her in the direction different from where she was going.
Unlike most of the men she meets, Ben is kind and caring, and as it turns out, they have a lot in common.
Both of them had kind of tough upbringings. They also both felt abandoned as kids.
Which, Ben explains, is why he's spent most of his life in hot water.
This was a guy who had just got out of federal prison for robbing banks. He had a few charges for drug activity, and it seemed to just drift from one place to the other.
Like Erica, Ben says he's been trying to get his life in order, and immediately shows her his soft side.
Ben offered her a place to stay, helped her clothe herself, feed herself, and brought her to a place where she felt human again.
Erica jumps at the chance to bunk with Ben at his modest one-room apartment nearby, especially since he doesn't require sexual favors in return.
Ben probably treated her better than anyone had during her entire life.
But as the two broken individuals continue to bond, their newfound relationship quickly takes a toxic turn.
They were in love, but they had a world of trouble around them.
She was willing to do whatever it took to keep him happy.
Following a turbulent childhood, young Erica Pugh is struggling to make ends meet on the streets of Del Mar, Maryland. But when a new friend, Ben Holterman, offers her a shoulder to lean on, she feels like she's been thrown a lifeline.
For a young woman who had felt abandoned and neglected and left to the side, Benjamin would have offered everything that she was looking for, including something like love.
When a person is very vulnerable, it's just human nature for them to be accepting of others. So it's not really who the person is, but it's more of the timing of the person coming into their lives.
After just a few weeks of cohabitating, the pair becomes inseparable. Because she and her man are both unemployed, Erica quickly finds out how Ben's been able to maintain his livelihood.
Ben was making money and keeping the lights on by committing petty thefts, robberies, and breaking in cars.
And when he asks for Erica's help, she doesn't think twice about supporting him or his shady habits.
Erica would have done anything for him. She didn't care. She loved him.
When we think that true love comes along, it is so much more easier to mold ourselves into that person that we think our new partner wants us to be.
After months of looting from unlocked vehicles, Erica suggests that they try their luck somewhere other than Maryland, preferably somewhere warm. A few days later, the twosome takes an online rideshare to the Sunshine State in hopes of hitting new targets and starting a new life in Orlando.
Erica and Ben were squatting, living in vacant homes which were spread out across East Orange County. And so living from place to place, they built some kind of life around petty theft, burglary.
They were just stealing just to get by. Anywhere they went or anything they seen, they wanted it, they would take it.
While Ben does most of the robberies, Erica tags along as a lookout.
She'd keep watch to see if law enforcement was coming, to see if any neighbors were attuned to what they were doing, and tried to keep Ben safe while they burglarized vehicles.
It was her job. She wanted to stand by her man, and that's what she did.
Since they never get caught, their self-assurance billows. They now have the courage to not only loot from cars, but steal the cars themselves, including a Honda Accord, which is now their main mode of transportation.
They were a very confident couple, and they weren't afraid. As long as they had each other, they were willing to do anything.
And by late winter, they have no intentions of slowing down, even when things take a dangerous turn.
In early February, Ben finds a gun, and he takes it. And a gun now has become a part of the equation.
Now that her man is armed, Erica knows the possibilities are endless.
Fear is a very interesting emotion. And it's my clinical opinion that something that might scare you, such as firearms, a gun, for example, isn't so scary when you're with someone who you really love.
With the gun in hand, the crimes start to get more serious. Ben convinces Erica to call a local drug dealer to set up a fake buy.
She does as her man says, asking for an ounce of marijuana and arranging a meetup.
Once they make contact with this drug dealer, they rob him of the drugs that he has and threaten him at gunpoint to release whatever valuable things that he had.
The pusher does as he's told, and with loot in hand, the couple quickly disappears, sure he won't out them and put his illicit livelihood in jeopardy.
Their confidence level was super high. They were going after drug dealers in a town they didn't even know. So at that point, they probably thought they were invincible.
When we look at love, there really is a chemical basis to that. We have to look at the hormones that give you that pitter-patter feeling in your heart. That sort of addiction can make you feel absolutely invulnerable.
But their bond will be tested on a balmy Wednesday evening when a routine heist spirals out of control.
On the night of February 10th, Erica and Ben head over in their Honda to one of the upper middle-class neighborhoods in East Orange County.
They were looking to break into cars and either find cash or items that they could go and sell so that they could use the money to live off of and to buy drugs.
Eventually, Ben and Erica reach Chatterley Lane, where they come across a valuable car, one that would have most certainly caught Ben's eye.
As always, loyal Erica keeps lookout. But this time, they're the ones being watched.
A homeowner spotted Ben walking around his car. He tried to go after him, but Ben got away.
Is that your car?
Realizing he can't catch the snooper, the eyewitness makes a beeline for Erica.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
For the first time, it seemed as though the couple had bit off more than they could chew.
And later, in Boston, Massachusetts, academic standout Yamali Mathurin gets a hard lesson in love when she follows a man with no class.
It was a horrific scene, straight out of any horror movie.
She would do anything for Alex because she's in love.
Before carrying out their most dangerous thefts, the passionate couple engaged in a unique form of motivation.
Right before they went into the gated community, they had had sex to sort of amp themselves up for the crime.
Erica Pugh and her boyfriend Ben Holterman have just been spotted by a neighbor while casing vehicles in a swanky Orlando, Florida subdivision.
Ben takes off running. Meanwhile, this gentleman went over to Erica and basically slammed his hands on the car.
Where do you think you're
He
going?
tried to keep her from leaving the scene, but she took off.
Terrified, the teen quickly speeds through the quiet community, all the while praying her love makes it to safety.
Even though she was freaked out, her mind was still on Ben. She was thinking about her man.
Little does she know, the angry neighbor has dialed 911 with a description of the nefarious couple, and police are already hot on their heels.
She didn't have nowhere to go. She didn't know the area, and she probably was scared.
Unaware of her boyfriend's location, Erica pulls over on a side street.
She was just going up the block to get away from the police.
As she takes a breather to collect her thoughts, an unsuspecting police cruiser passes by. She immediately texts Ben a warning. With no sign of him, and police trolling the area, a nervous Erica ditches the car and sets off on foot. But not before sending one last text to prove her devotion.
Instead of taking off and not looking back, she was more concerned about what was happening to him.
After walking just a few blocks, a deputy pulls up next to her.
Mind if I have a word with you?
Erica starts to spin a web of lies. She makes up a story about how she and her boyfriend are in town to visit a relative.
While Erica nervously talks with the officer, Orange County Sheriff's Deputy Jonathan Pine is in a frantic foot pursuit with Ben. But the officer is unaware that the perp is packing heat.
Ben at one point pulls out the gun and points it at Deputy Pine and opens fire.
Shot him 3 times in the chest and 1 time in the head.
The shot is fatal, and Deputy Pine falls to the ground.
Meanwhile, Erica listens intently as the police radio begins to crackle.
This news hit Erica like a ton of bricks. She probably never imagined that going out to break in cars would escalate to this.
She is immediately transported to the police station. And the second she's placed in the interrogation room, she gets a disturbing update.
They broke the news to her that not only had her boyfriend killed the deputy, but he had also turned the gun on himself, and now he was dead.
She was devastated, and now that she was stuck with everything that they done did, and she didn't know what to do.
Crushed by the loss of her man and facing a lifetime behind bars, Erica makes a full confession.
She told him about how she was the lookout and how Ben was going around checking doors and trying to break into cars. She told him everything they wanted to know.
Erica's arrested and charged with first-degree murder, grand theft of a vehicle, and burglary. After many agonizing months in jail, Erica strikes a deal and pleads guilty to second-degree manslaughter, third-degree burglary, and third-degree grand theft auto. She's sentenced to 15 years behind bars.
Deputy Pine's wife was angry. She did not think that the plea deal, as stated, was enough time for someone who had taken away her husband and the father to her 3 children.
In the end, Erica realizes her man took the cowardly way out. She deeply regrets chasing love and wishes she never crossed paths with Ben Holterman.
Erica had so many chances to get away. Had she left Ben, had she gotten away from this unhealthy relationship, she probably could have turned things around. Now, it's too late.
This is truly a tragedy because here you have 2 people who senselessly lost their lives. The person who ends up doing time in jail didn't even pull the trigger, and she did all of this for the love of her man.
Today, she and her mom are closer than they've ever been.
She has apologized every time we talk, which is once a week. And she tells me she's sorry for what she did to me and us as a family.
Erica Pugh allowed the guy of her dreams to quickly steal her heart and her freedom. Next, Yamali Mathurin also learns that letting a man pull you by the heartstrings can lead you to a world of trouble. At just 16 years old, Yamali lives the good life in bustling Boston, Massachusetts.
She was in high school. She was just about to enter her junior year. She, by all accounts, was a smart, ambitious girl who had a bright future ahead of her.
Despite being a child of divorce, the focused teen manages to stay out of trouble, thanks to an excellent role model.
Her mother came from Haiti, and she immigrated here to the United States.
Her mother was a nurse. They work hard, they work long hours. They are always there for other people. So she grows up watching this, and basically, that's her example.
And this apple has no intentions of falling far from the tree.
She wants to be a strong young woman. Her mother's in the medical field, so she goes the same direction.
She volunteered for the elderly. She worked really hard at her studies and was on track to go to college and do something with her life.
As the calendar flips, Yamali continues to stay on course, even when her life takes an unexpected detour the summer before her senior year.
The mother had a new job opportunity, so her and Yamali moved 45 minutes outside of Boston to take the job on.
When her mother said, "We're moving," Yamali went and threw herself into her new school. But it's an adjustment period.
A move can be especially disruptive for a teen because they have developed lifelong friendships, and then now they're ripped away from their comfort zone to be in a new environment.
The 17-year-old does her best to resume her studies, as well as her volunteer work. But when the wrong man enters her perfect world, it's Yamali's life that will need saving.
There were two peas in a pod, and there's nothing that she wouldn't do for him.
17-year-old Yamali Mathurin is excelling through life after a move from Boston to Hyde Park, Massachusetts. And when she meets her first boyfriend, she feels like she has the world on a string.
While it can be tough on teens to uproot in the middle of high school, it can also be eye-opening. It's an opportunity to come out of the comfort zone and make new friends and have new experiences.
Alexander Gallet is a star football player at nearby West Roxbury High and has all the right moves.
Instantly, Yamali was attracted to the way he looked, the way he talked. And so right there was an instant physical attraction.
After striking up some conversation, it's clear the pair has more in common than just sex appeal.
Their parents were both from Haiti, so they understood the whole Haitian lifestyle.
But as the discussion deepens, she learns they have one major difference. He's on the outs with his family.
His father was very strict and asked him to move to Haiti to study medicine. And that is something that Alex didn't want to do. So he eventually left, and he was just hopping on his friends' couches.
It's a story that warms Yamali's compassionate heart, and she quickly offers a shoulder to lean on.
She wanted to support him and wanted to help him. They became boyfriend and girlfriend, and that was it for them. They were exclusive. There was nobody else.
As the season changes, the young lovers become inseparable, so much so that their 24/7 relationship concerns Yamali's family, especially when the academic standout's grades begin to slip.
Her mother's working very, very hard, and the most that she's asking her daughter to do is to make sure she does well academically. So that means she has to focus. And having this boy, Alex, in the picture was totally veering off course.
It's that boy. You're distracted. He has nothing in
They
him.
wanted her maybe to just take a step back and cool off the relationship, but she had no interest in that.
Instead, she hopes to get her man back on his feet by boldly asking her mother if Alex can move in.
Well, his family lives in Haiti, and he doesn't have anywhere to stay. Can he please stay with us? Please?
But her mother, being pretty conservative, did not want this boy in her house.
Are you serious?
Let's face it, most parents would absolutely not allow their 18-year-old daughter to have her boyfriend move in. And this has nothing to do about religion. It has to do with common sense.
After pleading with all of her friends, her pal Marie Tyson is the only one to concede and agrees to let him bunk on her couch for a few nights. But days quickly turn to weeks as Alex lazily settles in.
He didn't have a job, so there wasn't really much motivating him to get out of this house and find his own place. And this was where he stayed for much of the summer.
Still, the laid-back sponger claims he's in desperate need of some spending money, especially since he doesn't have his parents' support.
Alexander went to the person he knew who would help him. She was his rock, she was his girlfriend, so he's gonna hatch a plan with her to get money.
You can come through tonight?
That night, Alex meets up with Yamali, along with another friend, 21-year-old Michelle St. Jean, and together the group formulates a scheme.
The plan was that they were going to order a pizza and they were gonna lure the delivery man someplace where they could basically rob him, take his cash and whatever else they could get their hands on.
At first, Yamali is blown away by Alex's shady plot. It's a disturbing side of him she hasn't seen in the 2 months they've been dating.
But she didn't want to back down and she didn't want to disappoint him, so she, of course, said yes, she wanted to do it.
I really do believe that Yamali was probably shocked by this, but yet at the same time, when you're in love, it's just so much easier to blur those lines between right and wrong and to follow blindly.
Around 11 o'clock on a clement September evening, the friends set their robbery scheme in motion.
The trio took a bus to 742 Hyde Park Avenue.
They go to this place where they knew was vacant. Alex had crashed there a couple of times. You don't have anybody looking over your shoulder.
And the two boys were armed with knives in case anything went down.
Hoping to conceal her identity when she phones the restaurant, Yamali nonchalantly approaches a next-door neighbor.
I need to place an order for some pizza, but I lost my phone. Can I borrow yours?
And so she asked the neighbor if she could use this phone and order the food.
The boy happily lends his to the stranger, no questions asked. And when Yamali rings the local pizza joint, she makes doubly sure the driver will have plenty of cash on him.
Yamali ordered 2 pizzas, chicken wings, and a liter of soda. And she tells them, I have a large bill and I'm gonna need change. They said, okay, no problem, we'll do this.
While she's making this phone call, Alexander and Michelle were in the house with their knives in their hands, waiting for him.
40 minutes after the initial call, 58-year-old Rochelle Nova pulls up to the home with the trio's order.
Richello wasn't even supposed to be working that night. He was taking somebody else's shift.
Little does the unsuspecting driver know, he's delivering himself to his own grave.
He could not have had any idea of what was going to happen to him.
In Boston, Massachusetts, Yamali Mathurin, her boyfriend Alex Galley, and a third friend, Michelle St. Jean, are holed up in a vacant house, ready to rob pizza delivery man Rochelle Nova. And the second he exits his car with their order, the stage is set.
Pizza for you, Millie?
I left my wallet upstairs. Could you follow me up?
No, I can wait.
Yamali urges Rochelle to follow her around back to a second-floor entrance, where the boys are waiting anxiously to strike.
Because she was so sweet-faced and so innocent-looking, he followed her.
Even if you're not a cold-blooded person, when it comes to love, it becomes easy for someone to dispel their morals and their values.
As this was happening, the same neighbor that allowed Yamali to use the phone to make the order was watching the driver follow her to the back of the apartment.
Once they step foot inside, a vicious attack ensues, one that neither Rochelle nor Yamali ever saw coming.
They grabbed him, they started stabbing him, and they dragged him from the back entrance through the kitchen and into a back bedroom.
They viciously stabbed him 16 times all over his body.
Yamali was in complete shock. This was completely out of the plan that they originally had in the beginning.
Stop!
So just to see these two guys attack and attack and attack, it was just beyond her imagination.
Within seconds, the ambush is over, and Rochelle's lifeless body slumps to the floor. The men scramble to check his pockets for cash, finding only $143. But when Alex tries to divvy it up, his uneasy girlfriend cashes out.
Yamali didn't want the money. It was all for her man. She didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Hey,
I don't want it.
Hey, what's my money is your money.
And Alex said, no, what is mine is yours. And she had no choice but to just take it anyways.
With the job done, the perpetrators collect the victim's car keys, the food they ordered, and some bleach from a closet, just in case they need to clean themselves up.
So after stealing all those things, they jetted off and ran out and took his car.
However, they have no idea they're being watched.
The neighbor heard loud sounds coming from next door and immediately saw the three come out of the house and into the pizza delivery guy's car and drive off.
He became very worried that something horrible had happened in that house.
The boy immediately rushes next door. There, he discovers Rochelle's dead body.
He went into the back room, and he was horrified by what he found on the ground. He could see blood on the walls. He saw chicken wings covered in blood.
He saw a lifeless body, his pockets inside out, and he was just lying there dead.
Rochelle was the father of 3 twin girls who were in college and an older boy who was studying mechanical engineering. It was devastating.
It's a terrifying sight, and the neighbor doesn't think twice about calling 911. Providing a description of the 3 shady characters, as well as their stolen getaway car.
The police right away had a lot to go on. They knew to look for a sedan that had a pizza delivery sign on it.
Police immediately put out a bolo for Rochelle's missing car and pray they can link it to whoever is responsible. Meanwhile, the assailants are en route to nearby St. Adalbert's Church parking lot to clean the car of any evidence they might have transferred into the vehicle.
They took bleach and started cleaning the steering wheel, cleaning the gear shift, cleaning the doors.
For all the care they took wiping down the car, they were very careless with the pizza. They just discarded the box, and the box had a lot of evidence, including fingerprints and blood.
Confident they've covered their tracks, the nefarious trio heads to Yamali's friend Marie's house, where Alex has been staying.
Yamali's friend opens the door and she sees a very bizarre scene. Her best friend, her boyfriend, and their friend look very nervous, very scared, and Alexander, his shirt and his pants are covered in blood.
That blood? We were walking down the street and...
But the pals are quick with a cover story.
Yamali's response was that she was groped by a drunk person on the street, and the 2 boys went in and attacked the drunk men, and that's why they were covered with blood.
Marie is understandably suspicious, but it's late, and she's not in the mood to conduct an after-hours interrogation.
She just said, you know what, you guys go to sleep, it's not a big deal. So they just left it like that, and that was it.
It's hard to imagine how such a young couple could hold it together emotionally after committing such a heinous, violent crime. You'd really think that some sort of guilt or culpability might rear its head, but it just didn't seem to happen here.
As the trio lays low the next day, police locate Rochelle's stolen ride in the church parking lot.
They open up the doors. They have a whiff of bleach that's unbelievable. They see underneath the bottle of bleach, which has blood on it.
There was a pizza box underneath the car. There was blood on the pizza box. There were fingerprints on the pizza box.
Unfortunately, since none of their suspects have a prior record, detectives can only file them away until they're nabbed. Luckily, when they speak with one of the delivery men's co-workers the next day, it quickly turns up the heat on Yamali and her wingmen.
Once the police found out that information, their relationship was shattered.
To his close friends, Alex went by the name Blade, thanks to his affinity for knives.
It's very ironic that he has a nickname of the ultimate weapon he used to kill someone.
Investigators in Massachusetts have just received a tip they think will lead to the killer of Rochelle Nova, a pizza delivery driver found dead in a vacant Hyde Park Avenue home.
The number that Yamali used to call in to make the order was different than the caller ID number.
She didn't know the telephone number of the phone she was speaking from, so she gave them Michelle's number, which appeared on the phone at the pizza company.
Hoping for answers, police immediately track down Michel St. Jean and bring him in for questioning. And without provocation, the nervous 20-year-old drops a bombshell.
He immediately confessed to being at the house, though he claimed he had not laid a finger on Michelle.
He said that the only thing that he was involved with was stealing the keys, the money, and the car.
It's Yamile, and he says it's Alex, the Bonnie and Clyde, the boyfriend and the girlfriend.
Investigators ask Michel to take them where the two suspects live, and he obliges. Right before he's charged with murder, armed robbery, and breaking and entering with the intent to commit a felony. Meanwhile, Yamile and Alex are carrying on with life as usual.
They didn't worry about it, as if they actually believed they weren't going to be found out.
Regret is an emotion that you have which is very distressful because you've done something that is wrong or shameful, but it's hard to have regret when you have no remorse for your actions.
2 days after the murder, undercover investigators conduct surveillance around the neighborhood, where both suspects are holed up. And around 7:20 p.m., they get the opportunity to move in.
The officers saw them walking hand in hand down Adams Street, looking pretty happy by all accounts.
The teens agree to accompany police to the station, where they're questioned separately. However, the second she's placed in an interrogation room, Yamile continues her lying ways.
She had told them the same story she had told her friend, which was that Alexander came to her defense after she'd been groped by a man on the street, and that's how things got bloody.
But when detectives provide proof that the trio was on a bus headed for Hyde Park Avenue the night of Rochelle's murder, the once wholesome teen breaks down and reaches for a notepad.
So Yamile takes a piece of paper and writes down, "I am invoking my Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate myself."
She had been thinking about Alex all along, and as long as she knew he was okay, she wasn't talking anymore. That helps her, and that helps him.
Yamile Mathurin's immediately placed under arrest and charged with murder, armed robbery, and breaking and entering with intent to commit a felony.
It's human nature to defend someone we love till the bitter end, even if we know that what they did was wrong. It really is an action of the heart in that we're willing to look the other way.
Meanwhile, in the next room, Yamile's man adamantly denies being involved in the murder. That is, until he learns his boo has been charged and assumes she confessed.
Once he saw she was under arrest, I think he felt that her emotions got the best of her, and she told on both of them.
But he, of course, wanted to make sure that he had Yamile's back by letting them know that she wasn't involved in killing Rochelle.
Instead, he provides a detailed account of he and Michelle's role in the killing.
There's something strangely noble about his behavior. He never wanted her to go to prison. He was always willing to fall on his sword for her.
But investigators don't split hairs. They remind him she was there willingly, making her just as culpable as the men.
The police knew the very active role she played by making the phone call, by being present, and then also by helping to clean up afterwards.
With that tragic news, Alex is booked and charged with murder, robbery, and breaking and entering like the other two.
Guilt is a very interesting animal. There is a subset of people who perhaps don't experience any guilt, especially when they're taking part in deplorable actions. And where they begin to express some guilt is when their backs are up against the wall.
Alexander Gallet and Michel St. Jean decide to take their cases to trial. But it doesn't take a jury long to find both guilty of first-degree murder, armed robbery, and breaking and entering with the intent to commit a felony. They're given life sentences without the possibility of parole.
They're finished. They're done forever. All for a fistful of dollars, nothing.
4 years later, Yamile cuts a deal. She never testifies against her cohorts, instead pleading guilty to manslaughter, breaking and entering, and armed robbery in exchange for a 17 to 20-year sentence. Behind bars, Yamali expresses incredible remorse for her actions, saying she regrets throwing her promising future away for a guy like Alex.
I think like any girl, she was looking for love in a relationship, but she found her doom. She found the end of her life as she knew it.
There are a million reasons why good people go bad. And if Alex had not entered Yamali's life, given where she was going, she could have accomplished almost anything.
She lost everything. She put him before she put herself. She put him before right and wrong, things that she knew were golden. And it is no man on this planet that should be able to make anybody do the things that she accommodated him to do.
California beauty Veronica Paz always had a thing for jocks.
Brandon was the star of the football team, and Veronica was the prettiest girl in high school. They seemed like the perfect couple.
But when a rival competitor enters the picture, she must make a deadly choice.
She drove that kid up there for his execution.
There's someone either passed out or dead, and you see the blood from the back of his head.
No, no, no! They were a lethal team and would do anything for each other, even kill.
And later, afflicted with cerebral palsy, British-born Donna Slaughter never felt worthy of a man's attention.
Donna needed security and love and to feel like a desirable woman.
So when she meets a man who gives her all of those things, she's willing to do absolutely anything for him.
Jason had him sign the insurance doc, but Donna ensured the payout.
She would do anything he wanted her to do, even murder.
Born beautiful, Veronica Paz grows up pampered in sunny Orange County, California, and she loves every minute of it.
She was the only daughter. She had 2 brothers, and she was the princess of the family. And she grew up expecting the same treatment from the rest of the world.
Although the lovely Latina is not one to rest on her laurels, she excels in academics as well, even rising to the top of her class.
Veronica was a very good student. She'd be named Citizen of the Month, and teachers all had great things to say about her.
By the time she's 17, the girl with beauty and brains is admired by everyone around her, especially the boys. They can tell she's something special.
Veronica was a catch. Very popular, and she seemed to really like the attention.
She knows she could have the pick of the guys, but one stands out among the rest, the star running back Brandon Perry. He's a year behind Veronica, but just as popular as the senior.
Brandon was considered a very good athlete, especially in football. Had received some attention from colleges.
He was sort of like Veronica's opposite gender equivalent. He was popular, he was attractive, and he was admired by everyone in the school.
Even though Veronica still enjoys flirting with other boys, she and Brandon quickly become an item. Though after a year, the allure of dating a high school star suddenly loses its appeal when she graduates and starts working in the real world.
She was a checker at a supermarket, and she was a teacher's aide. Veronica had a couple jobs to help the family financially.
While she juggles between Brandon and her work responsibilities, her boyfriend's grades start to plummet, hurting his chances at stardom.
He just seemed to kind of lose interest in school, and then his senior year, he was ineligible for sports, even though he was the star of the football team.
So he decided to drop out of high school, and now he really wasn't doing anything with his life.
Veronica's not pleased with Brandon's lack of ambition, and for the next few years, the two struggle with the typical ups and downs of young love.
He was at home playing video games pretty often, and oftentimes calling Veronica to see what she was doing.
When we're looking at adolescent relationships, sometimes they can be very intense.
You didn't tell me you were going to work today?
Yeah, I told you I was picking up a shift.
Veronica did seem to have a genuine love for Brandon, but she was young, and so she wanted to see what else was out there.
3 years after high school, the couple is still holding on tight to their love when Veronica lays eyes on 17-year-old Diego Gonzalez Sanchez, the new bagger at her job.
Diego was living with his family, going to a local high school. He was in his senior year. He was the captain of the wrestling team.
She can't help but notice his good looks and natural prowess.
Diego was a star athlete, just like Brandon. And Veronica saw her opportunity to go back to dating the star athlete once again. So she told herself, I really want this guy.
And Diego's not complaining.
Diego was very interested in pursuing Veronica and hooking up with her, like any 17-year-old boy would be if he's being flirted with a 21-year-old woman.
But Veronica's actions are about to provoke a vicious war, one that will destroy multiple lives and end with a brutal murder.
They teamed up to take care of their problem.
Those two together were a deadly mix.
In Orange County, California, 21-year-old Veronica Paz finds herself attracted to her new co-worker, high school senior Diego Gonzalez Sanchez.
Diego got a job at the same supermarket where Veronica was working. He was a bag boy. She was a clerk.
Veronica doesn't care that he's only 17 or that she's on again with her 20-year-old boyfriend, Brandon Perry. She uses all of her best moves to play the younger Diego.
She was very flirtatious. She knew that she was beautiful, and she knew that she could get him.
A couple of weeks later, her charms do the trick, and the two drive to a secluded spot together after work. They soon find themselves steaming up the back seat.
They started to have mad, passionate sex with one another.
Jumping into a sexual relationship is really not a good idea, especially if you're young, because one person may be enamored with the sex and you end up having that very unbalanced relationship. One in it for sex, one in it for the real thing.
After that, the couple's road trips become routine. But they're careful to keep their affair on the down low.
Veronica was still dating Brandon, and she really still cared for Brandon, but Diego just had more to offer.
But when she hints at being exclusive, the teenager casually brushes her off.
From Diego's standpoint, this was a sexual thing, so he wasn't looking at Veronica that way.
This is new territory for Veronica because she's never been turned down before. And so she perhaps now wants the thing that she can't have. So now she tried much, much harder to get Diego.
As discreet as they try to be, it doesn't take long for word to get back to her boyfriend that Veronica's seeing someone on the side. Brandon immediately confronts her about Diego, but she flat out denies the relationship, and he believes her.
She says, oh, him, that boy's always bugging me. He's always chasing me. I don't like him. I don't want anything to do with him.
Brandon vows that if he ever runs into Diego on the street, he will make him pay for trying to put the moves on his girl.
Here, Veronica is rejected by Diego, but she's got a go-to guy, which is Brandon. And now Brandon is showing all of this jealousy. So now in her mind, he's showing me the attention that I can't get from Diego. But I still want Diego too.
A few months later, while continuing to date Brandon and enjoying her secret trysts with Diego, Veronica pushes the high school wrestler for more. When he refuses a second time, her blood begins to boil.
Not only was she humiliated by this young guy, but it made her really, really angry because she realized that she was just being used for her body.
That summer, Veronica's two worlds collide when she and Diego find themselves at the same party, and then her boyfriend shows up. When he sees his girl with the man he thinks is cutting in on his territory, he becomes enraged.
He wanted to defend his girl's honor, so quickly there was a confrontation between Diego and Brandon.
What's up? What's good?
Veronica silently watches as the two men in her life face off and something clicks.
What's up, man? What's up?
In her mind, Veronica really saw Brandon as being her knight in shining armor, rescuing her from the guy who rejected her.
But the star wrestler isn't backing down to the football has-been.
which pushed Brandon's buttons even more, and there seemed to be some type of a macho standoff between those two.
It got really ugly, and then all of a sudden, one of Diego's friends pulled out a gun.
Man, you good?
Oh, what's up now? Okay.
Not wanting to take any chances, Brandon yields.
Back up. That's how it is?
He grabs
Okay, let's
Veronica
go.
and the two take off. Fueled by rage and disgrace, the high school sweethearts decide Diego's days are numbered.
So done. I swear it's so
Veronica, as well as Brandon, were completely humiliated by Diego. They decided together they're gonna get rid of this problem.
Brandon now feels like, wait a minute, you dissed me in front of my woman? You know, I'm gonna get revenge. Veronica is thinking, wait a minute, you dissed both of us? Well, I want revenge too. Their combined humiliation turned them into a lethal weapon.
So the young couple comes up with a flawless plan to kill the teenage jock. A few weeks later, Brandon gets a gun, but tells Veronica that she needs to buy the ammunition since he's still a few months shy of 21. She does. Now all they need to do is figure out a way to get Diego alone without raising suspicion.
The stage was always set for it to happen. It just went to when's it going to happen?
1 month later, around 11 p.m., the opportunity presents itself when Veronica gets a call from the man of the hour, suggesting they go for one of their usual rides.
Bad timing for Diego to have called her because Brandon was there.
Brandon said, okay, that's it. Arrange to meet him, and we'll take care of him.
She's gonna do whatever Brandon asks her because she realizes he's not bluffing. He wants revenge against Diego, and she's gonna help him in every way to do that.
How about I pick you up?
Veronica tells Diego she'll come get him and heads out to set the plan in motion.
Diego tells his family he's going to meet Veronica and leaves the house. Veronica picks him up near his residence.
The teenager is clueless as to the horror that awaits him. As Veronica drives to a secluded spot, she knows she can easily back out of the plan, but instead she never gives her lover a heads up.
She could have told Brandon I couldn't find him. He never made it to the corner where I told him to meet me.
When they part, she lures Diego into the back seat where the two start kissing. It's so hot and heavy that he doesn't hear a car pull up.
Veronica and Diego were really making out, and then all of a sudden, there was a tap at the window.
And later, in Georgia, Donna Slaughter will sacrifice everything so she can hold on to the only love she's ever known.
Even though it was tainted and twisted, she was willing to do anything for him.
Before picking up Diego, Veronica bought a box of condoms, preparing herself for a little action before Diego's demise.
Maybe she wasn't really through with Diego as yet, or maybe she just thought that Brandon wasn't going to go through with the murder. So she wanted to make sure that she could have a good time just in case.
Veronica Paz lures 17-year-old Diego Gonzalez to an isolated lover's lane in Orange County, California for sex. When her boyfriend Brandon Perry shows up, hell-bent on getting revenge after being humiliated by the teenager.
He pulls Diego out of the backseat at gunpoint.
Veronica jumps out of the car and stands by her boyfriend as he confronts the man who embarrassed them both.
Brandon and Veronica are standing side by side, Diego in front of him.
Come on, man, just put it down.
Diego took one step forward, and at that moment, Brandon shot Diego in the head.
To be sure he's dead, Brandon shoots him in the head again.
If the first shot to the forehead didn't kill him, the second shot certainly did.
In that moment, emotions were flying high. This was going to be the culmination of their revenge and the humiliation that they went through, and she just wasn't gonna stop at this point.
Before anyone spots them, the duo tries to get rid of the body, but their idea has a flaw.
They tried to actually burn Diego's body with diesel fuel. That didn't really do the job because diesel fuel isn't as flammable as petroleum, regular gasoline. Although the body burned a little, it didn't get rid of the evidence.
In a panic, the pair take off and call a couple of their pals to be their alibis.
They got their friends to agree to say that they were at their houses during the murder.
Veronica and Brandon go to sleep in their respective parents' houses, believing their secret is safe.
I would have to think they were in some sort of emotional shock. And the way that they could deal with that situation is not to think about their heinous acts, but more than anything else, how it brought the two of them together. They were now as thick as thieves.
The next morning at 8 a.m., two young men come across Diego's partially charred remains.
Hi, this is Orange County Fire. Can I help you? Yeah, I'm in Orange Park Acres, and there's someone either passed out or dead. And okay, and what are you seeing? There's a guy lying in the driveway, and you can see that there's blood from the back of his head.
As investigators reach out to Diego's family, they're horrified to learn of his violent death.
They were devastated, couldn't believe that their child, who had such a bright future and so much potential, was murdered.
And it doesn't take long before the name Veronica Paz pops up in the investigation.
Diego's brother informed police that he knew that Diego was meeting up with Veronica that night.
But police are really interested in what a friend of Diego tells them about Veronica's boyfriend, Brandon Perry.
They learned that there was a love triangle going on. That Diego and Veronica went to a party together. Brandon showed up and he confronted Diego.
Investigators immediately track the high school dropout down at his home, and he volunteers to come in for questioning. But that's where any cooperation ends.
When I asked him, "Are you aware of a person by the name of Diego Gonzalez?" "No, I'm not," which I knew was not the truth.
Sensing they're on the right track, detectives bluff and tell him they have his cell phone records and can tell exactly where he was when Diego was killed. And they're careful not to mention the location of the crime scene itself. They don't have to.
He bites on it and puts himself right in the area where the body's found.
Driving around that neighborhood anyways.
Brandon incriminated himself by stating that he was driving around near the crime scene.
Realizing he's in over his head, Brandon refuses to say another word, but it's too late. Investigators charge him with first-degree murder. Next, police bring in Veronica, and over the next several hours, she flat out denies meeting Diego the night he was killed.
At no time did you say that you would meet with Diego?
No way. I told him that, I really don't want to deal with any drama. Damn, he's just trouble, and I don't want to deal with him at all.
She sticks to their concocted story and says she was at her friend's house all night.
She used her alibi and stuck to it, and also she stuck by Brandon and stated that he didn't have anything to do with the crime.
Well, I'm asking you, are you trying to cover up something else? Because Brandon actually is being pretty honest.
Fearing what he might be saying about her role in Diego's demise, Veronica turns on her man.
Whatever love that Veronica had for Brandon, at this point, it was about self-preservation, and therefore that love went out the window.
She says she wants to tell me the truth. I ask her what that is, and she says to me that Brandon shot Diego.
Through tears, Veronica admits that she lured Diego to his death, but had no idea Brandon was going to kill him.
She said, "Oh, I only thought he was going to beat him up."
After talking with her friends, police are way ahead of her and don't buy it.
She was aware that Brandon had a gun. She bought the ammunition for that gun. When she told me, she had no idea the end result was going to be Brandon shooting Diego. I can't believe that.
48 hours after Diego is shot in cold blood, Veronica Paz is arrested for first-degree murder and lying in wait. With the overwhelming amount of evidence against Brandon, he agrees to make a deal. His days of backing Veronica are over.
Brandon was facing life without the possibility of parole. When he found out that Veronica had thrown him under the bus, he agreed to a plea deal where he would get life with the possibility of parole and would testify against Veronica.
4 months later, Veronica Paz goes to trial and is convicted of first-degree murder. But in 2008, her conviction is overturned on appeal because of faulty jury instruction.
And she decided to plead to second-degree murder.
She is sentenced to 15 years to life. Veronica now has plenty of time to think about how she went from a popular young woman with a future to an accomplice to murder.
Without Veronica's role, I don't believe Diego would have been killed. Brandon pulled the trigger, but Veronica got him up there. I'm sure every day they may be remorseful of, why did I do it?
When Veronica was humiliated by Diego, she didn't realize really the intensity of the hate she started feeling for him. And of course, having her go-to guy, Brandon, in many ways enabled that hate. She had someone who actually now made her feel better and emboldened her to go along with this murderous plot.
Veronica Paz was swept up in her boyfriend's deadly plan to prove that three's a crowd. Donna Slaughter's devotion to her man will lead her down a similar path. England native Donna Brimble has always struggled to fit in because of a developmental disorder.
Donna's got cerebral palsy, and she walks with a real strong gait. She has trouble keeping her balance without the use of a cane.
Cerebral palsy is a neurological issue where people have abnormal brain development, and it causes a lack of coordination of muscles and movement.
With a strong support system behind her, Donna does the best she can to live life to the fullest. But she wants more.
Her family wasn't wealthy. However, they were able to make certain that Donna had any and all of the things that she needed. But she wanted to be like anybody else. She wanted to have a normal life. She wanted to love.
By the time she's 30, she can no longer ignore her needs. With few friends and no romantic relationships, she gives online dating a try to find that special someone.
This is the way for her to open up her life and her world to other people, because she wasn't going to have that opportunity at home.
And it's not long before a 23-year-old American man from Delaware named Jason Slaughter contacts her, and she's immediately taken in by his charms.
They talked with each other, and they even exchanged pictures. Jason knew all the right things to say.
Donna was starving for attention, and no one ever talked to her in that way before. Therefore, it was something that was gratifying to her.
The pair talk daily, and Donna reluctantly admits she doesn't work because of her cerebral palsy. But Jason doesn't seem to mind. In fact, he wants to come clean about his own past and have no secrets between them.
I have something to tell you as well.
Jason told Donna that he was bisexual, but he told her, this is no longer who I am. Because of you, I want to be with you. I'm in love with you. So that's making her feel even better as a woman.
But what she doesn't know is that her new love has more than one secret. He's actually an ex-con with a criminal record who lives off of his petty scams.
Jason would take out renter's insurance and later, after a month or two, vandalize the apartment, write hate messages all over the building, and file claims with insurance companies. Jason was a con man and a master manipulator.
After a few months of chatting back and forth, Jason insists they meet in person, and Donna jumps at the chance.
When you already have a physical limitation, you feel like nobody wants you, nobody will love you. This may be my only chance at true love. So let me grab it and hold on to it for dear life. She decided she was going to leave the UK, come to the United States.
She met Jason in Delaware, and he was everything she thought he would be, especially in her fantasy world. And they got along just great. So in her mind, it was the perfect union.
And now that Donna's found a man, she's willing to do his bidding and destroy anyone who comes between them.
I got teamwork. Let's go.
She was completely devoted to him.
She's going to go through the fire for and with her man.
After meeting the love of her life online, Briton Donna Brimble can't believe her luck when she finally lays eyes on Jason Slaughter in person in Delaware. And he's everything she had hoped for.
There had not been boyfriends in the past, and nor was she ever really in a relationship with anyone else.
Donna had cerebral palsy. She was frail. She walked with a cane. And here comes Jason. He's sexy. He's good looking. He's telling her, I will love you. I will be with you, despite your physical limitations.
After making love for the first time ever, Donna is on cloud 9 and even more committed to him.
I believe she fell hard and completely, unconditionally in love with Jason Slaughter.
In healthier relationships, we see that it's not just about the sex, but it's about emotional intimacy. So this is everything that Donna wanted, and therefore, for her, that was the optimal relationship, emotionally and sexually, and having both together.
I have a surprise for you.
So when Jason asks her to marry him after only a few days, she accepts without hesitation.
Out of all the women in the world, he wanted her. He loved her. But I think for him, she represented someone who was a means to an end.
Just months later, the couple marry at a Delaware courthouse, and Donna never sets foot in the UK again. All she cares about is being Mrs. Slaughter.
She lost contact with her family, all of her support. She was all in with her relationship with Jason.
To start their new life together, Jason rents them a quaint little house in Mock, Georgia, just a couple hours south of Atlanta. With a population of 1,600, they have all the privacy they need as newlyweds.
You're not gonna have the nosy neighbors. The next person maybe 5, 10 acres away.
As the two settle in, Donna's joy is only matched by her love for Jason.
I'm sure it was going really well. You know, you're a new couple, newlyweds. I'm sure they were incredibly happy for a while.
Although within a few months, it becomes clear that without a steady income, they're going to sink deeper into debt.
Jason's not working, but he has some savings from previous jobs, maybe some previous scams, some other things. He has a savings account built up. That's starting to dwindle down.
And Donna can't help but notice Jason spending more and more time online. But she has no idea he's suddenly searching the internet looking for someone who might be able to pitch in and doesn't let gender stand in the way.
So he was initiating new relationships with other people.
And when he comes across the dating profile of a 21-year-old man named Michael Hagel, he can tell right away the young man is in need of some TLC and decides to reach out to him.
Michael is somebody who lives in St. Louis, but his family is not a fan of the homosexual lifestyle.
Not only is he lonely, but just like Donna, Michael has a disability that makes him insecure.
One of his legs was longer than the other, had surgery with a hip implant, and he was getting a disability.
They corresponded back and forth, and they became friends.
Jason was a troll. He knew how to pick the right people who are vulnerable emotionally, physically, and sexually, and those were the people he targeted on.
Believing her husband can do no wrong, Donna turns a blind eye to Jason's new friend, even when he visits him in Missouri.
Whether there was intentional ignorance on Donna's part, we don't know.
After just a few months, Jason tells Michael he's in love with him and asks his new boyfriend to move in with him in Georgia. Michael, believing he's met someone special, jumps at the chance for true love, just like Donna did before him.
Michael had detached himself on his own volition from his family. And so he was more than willing to take Jason as a person who he would welcome the affection and the love from.
That spring, Michael packs his bags and makes the 700-mile trek from St. Louis, Missouri to Mock, Georgia. Jason tells his wife he's invited Michael to be their roommate to help with their bills, and she couldn't be more thrilled.
Looks great.
Jason was quick to explain it away. He's financial income. He's a supplement to their income. So it didn't raise any red flags for her.
But when Michael gets there, he's shocked to find that Jason doesn't live alone, but instead is married to a woman.
Jason is telling him, oh, you know, Donna is just here because she wants to have her citizenship. There's nothing going on with us.
But to be sure Donna's feelings don't get hurt, he asks Michael to keep their romantic relationship a secret, and he agrees.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right.
Jason is just dealing spin. He's got both of them wrapped around his finger, neither one knowing about the other.
The three form an unconventional family, with Jason at the helm, and no one disputes it.
Donna and Michael basically came under Jason's wing because he was a master manipulator. But more than anything else, he isolated them from their families, whereas now he became the only one, the alpha.
But within a few months, Donna notices the two men in her life spending a lot more time together, without her.
Donna kind of gets hips to the fact that a lot of the times it's kind of Jason and Michael over here together, and they're leaving me out.
And that had to gnaw at her and had to destroy the feeling that she was the only one who Jason cared about.
In an effort to soothe his wife's insecurity, Jason tells her he's going to take out an insurance policy on himself and Michael, so she'll be taken care of if anything happens to them.
Michael Hagel's policy made Jason the beneficiary of $500,000, whereas the policy that was on Jason's life made Michael the beneficiary of only $25,000. So you can see what was going on there.
Once the documents are signed, Jason tells Donna what he really has in mind.
Take him out, and then we collect the money.
And with her help, not only will they not have to worry about money for quite a while, but it will be just the two of them together forever.
Jason simply tells Donna, I want you to shoot him in the back of the head. Will you do that for me, honey?
In Mock, Georgia, Donna's husband, Jason Slaughter, takes out a life insurance policy on his male lover, Michael Hagel, and asks his devoted wife to kill him.
In her mind, this was a way to get rid of a rival. This was her way just to be alone with Jason. She was enamored, she was in love with him, she would have done anything just to be with him.
So it doesn't really take much to convince Donna to go along with his scheme. She's thrilled to be back in her man's spotlight.
Donna thought that Michael was a threat. There was also a need for money. And she was so much in love, I guess, with Jason that she would do anything for him.
She has no idea that what she's agreed to do will cost her everything.
Donna was willing to do whatever she needed to do for him, even murder.
The next afternoon, Donna quietly loads one of her husband's guns and conceals it in the perfect place.
She hid it in the laundry basket because she was pretending to be doing laundry. She snuck behind Michael while he and Jason were playing video games.
Donna looks over at Jason and takes a deep breath. She knows she can't turn back now.
She pulled the gun out, pointed it in the base of his head, and shot him.
Michael is killed instantly.
Come on, come on.
Without hesitating, the two roll his body into a large plastic bin to avoid any more unnecessary blood on the floor, just like they had prearranged. Then, as Jason's done in his past rental insurance scams, they write racial and sexual epithets on Michael's skin using a bold black marker, hoping it will throw off police.
They ended up putting KKK, hell, and gay verbiage on his body to make it seem like a hate crime.
To seal the deal, they beat him in his arms and legs.
The body was hit with a hammer, maybe like he was in a brawl or a fight.
She was under his spell. So by getting rid of Michael, she was proving to Jason that she was worthy of his love.
The two anxiously wait until nightfall and then load the plastic container with Michael's body into the back of their red truck. They drive 30 miles away until they find the perfect spot to dump him.
It was a rural road out in the middle of nowhere. Michael's body was just laid on the side of the road, like a piece of garbage that was thrown from a car.
On their way back home, husband and wife throw any evidence, including the gun, into a trash dump site along the way.
They come back to the house and bleach it completely.
All that's left to do is wait for Michael's body to be found so they can cash in on the $500,000 life insurance policy.
We're all individuals. We're human beings. Michael was a human being who did not deserve this.
Early the next morning, Michael's body is spotted by a passing school bus.
Some of the children noticed something that was strange. When the bus driver realized what it might be, he called the police.
The Marion County Sheriff's Office responds, and deputies can tell right away that the victim was murdered somewhere else and dumped there.
There was no scuffle. There was no indication of any blood that was there.
There was no identification on the body, so police didn't know who he was.
The only clue they have is a witness who saw a red truck leaving the scene the night before. The police go to the press a few days later about a John Doe whose body has been discovered. Jason sees the announcement on the news and realizes Michael's ID must have fallen out somewhere.
They had to let the authorities know that this was indeed Michael. Otherwise, part of their whole plan would be messed up.
They wouldn't get the money, so it forced them to.
6 days after Michael's body is discovered, Jason decides to risk it and contacts the authorities.
Jason called us and told us this might be a roommate of theirs who was missing.
The master con man is prepared with a story to explain why he hadn't called the police sooner.
Honestly, I think he might be a male prostitute or something.
Jason painted Michael as a male prostitute, so for him to be gone for several days, they didn't think anything of it.
Hoping to find out who killed Michael, police ask Jason if they can come to the house and search his roommate's room, and he agrees. But what investigators find will quickly break the case wide open and show just how devoted a wife can be to her husband.
There were just red flags and whistles and sirens going off.
Nothing was going to stop her from protecting her man.
Jason Slaughter is currently being tried for the murder of a Delaware man, Christopher Masters, who was killed under similar circumstances as Michael Hagel.
In that situation, Jason was the beneficiary of a $250,000 policy from that same insurance company.
After killing their roommate, Michael Hagel, to collect $500,000 in life insurance, Donna and Jason Slaughter agree to let police into their home in Mock, Georgia, so they don't seem suspicious. But as the front door opens, investigators have a feeling they're face to face with Michael's killers.
When they went into the house, they were hit with an odor of bleach. Bleach everywhere. And they could tell somebody is doing some serious cleaning up here.
Take a look around.
And further searching has police looking directly at Jason when they uncover that he's been lying about his relationship with Michael all along.
During the search of the room, we see that Michael had love letters, had notes and drawings that depicted his love for Jason.
Something he neglected to mention.
So there's another red flag. And why didn't Jason tell police that there was this relationship? And just all of the story just started unraveling.
While Jason and Donna sit back silently, investigators are disappointed when they find no blood or a murder weapon. But they do find something just as good: motive.
They discovered an insurance policy. And they looked up the policy, and the policy was for $500,000 with Jason Slaughter being the beneficiary.
But the final nail is an eyewitness who saw a red truck matching theirs at the dump site. Husband and wife are both taken into custody for the murder of Michael Hagel. Once she's alone with investigators, Donna doesn't take long to crack. She quickly confesses to killing the young man while Jason was sleeping.
So Donna just immediately said she did it. And she claimed that in a jealous rage, she shot Michael.
You need to believe me, I shot him. And this is exactly where I shot him. And she pointed to where she said she shot him.
But she never once implicates Jason in the murder.
Donna was totally devoted to her husband, Jason. Therefore, it's not surprising at all that she took the full rap for this. She wouldn't give Jason up because in her life, without Jason, she was nothing.
Although police can't help being skeptical, especially when Donna claims that she got rid of Michael's body all by herself.
Donna said that I did everything, and that didn't fly with the investigation.
When you look at her, you know she could have never dumped that body by herself.
It just didn't add up. But this woman loved Jason so much. Here again, she's still willing to go to bat for him.
It's just what Jason had planned all along. So when police question him, he doesn't hesitate to turn on his wife.
Jason denied involvement in everything. He put it all on her and said, oh, she did this. I wasn't involved at all.
But police don't buy it, and neither does the jury. 2 years after Michael Hagel is murdered, Jason and Donna Slaughter are both tried and convicted of murder, aggravated assault, concealing the death of another, tampering with evidence, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. They are each sentenced to life plus 15 years. Through it all, Donna stands by her man.
We offered to allow her to move to set aside her conviction and testify for the state, and then allow her to plead, possibly to manslaughter. She would not bite, but she would not roll on Jason.
She didn't help herself and her own case. She was committed to going down the same path that her husband went down. That's how much she loved him.
This was truly a very symbiotic relationship of someone who wanted to be completely controlling and a person who felt that being controlled gave her some self-worth. And she was willing to pay the price for that kind of a love.
दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदावे मौत दमाल दुनिया दो दिन दी दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदावे मौत दमाल दुनिया दो दिन दी आए कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी खाक समाए ओढ़क जा बिच खाक समाए आए हो गए ख्वाब ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी आए हो गए ख्वाब ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदावे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी ऊंचे लम्हे महल बना दे ऊंचे लम्हे महल बना दे दगा फरेब ते जुल्म कमा दे दगा फरेब ते जुल्म कमा दे हाय कुछ नहीं खड़ते नाल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कुछ नहीं खड़ते नाल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओ दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदावे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी उजड़े लाल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओ दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदा वे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी सुख दे सजना सारे संगी सुख दे सजना सारे संगी नस जांदे जद आवे तंगी नस जांदे जद आवे तंगी हाय कोई नहीं गम दा प्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओह कोई नहीं गम दा प्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी हसना रोना गम लाचारी हसना रोना गम लाचारी आज मेरी कल तेरी बारी आज मेरी कल तेरी बारी हाय कंजरी दीनी मिसाल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओ दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदा बे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओह कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी भूत वे तुड़ानी मिट्टी दा वीरा भूत तुड़ानी मिट्टी दा वीरा अपना आप संभाल बशीरा अपना आप संभाल बशीरा हाय मिट्टी मिट्टी दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय मिट्टी मिट्टी दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओ दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदा मिट्टी दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदा वे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदा वे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी आए कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी सुल्तान भी आए बड़े बड़े सुल्तान भी आए ओढ़क जा बिच खाक समाए ओढ़क जा बिच खाक समाए आए हो गए ख्वाब ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी आए हो गए ख्वाब ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदा वे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन